This is Anglia Television. It's 10:30.
The news from ITN.
IRA bomb store discovered in London garage. Policeman's widow says he died doing the job he loved. Gorbachev bailed out by Yeltsin. Russia will pay the wages. And a late goal from Leeds that keeps them on top. Good evening. Scotland Yard believe they foiled an IRA bombing campaign after discovering a cache of weapons and explosives. As first disclosed on ITN, the bomb store was in a lock-up garage at Wanstead in East London. It was raided after a man, confronted by an off-duty police officer, dropped a bag containing 2 guns and then ran off.
Tonight's discovery could well provide vital clues for the anti-terrorist squad. An off-duty policeman spotted a man acting suspiciously in Wanstead, East London, and challenged him. The man dropped a bag he was carrying and escaped. Inside the bag, officers found at least 2 guns. Detectives then discovered a small lock-up garage nearby, in which was what amounts to a major arms and explosives cache, substantial quantities of Semtex and other bomb-making equipment. The contents will now be under close scrutiny. Neighbours were astonished.
It just, I suppose, highlights the fact that if it can be here, how many more places there can be in the country? That's what one would think of straight away. How many more are there like this?
You see, I think the trouble is you just drive in here.
Yeah.
There's no gate, there's no buzzer. We've all got entry phones, but you just drive in and then you've got your garages down here or you park your car outside.
Police will be trying to establish any connection between this incident and the team that blew themselves up in St Albans. Detectives strongly believe that there are other terrorists here on the mainland. Tonight, police are saying very little other than that operations are continuing. What seems very likely is that the terrorists were planning an immediate attack, possibly as soon as this weekend. Robin White, ITN, Central London.
The widow of the police sergeant stabbed to death in North London yesterday says her husband died doing the job he loved. Sergeant Alan King was knifed repeatedly after he stopped to question 2 men. The Home Secretary, Kenneth Baker, visited the 2 policemen today who were stabbed in a separate incident in South London. Police are questioning 2 men about the attacks.
After visiting the 2 police officers stabbed as they arrested one of the 2 wanted men, the Home Secretary praised their courage.
I spoke to them both, and they have been very severely attacked.
What did you tell them?
The damages and the cuts. I thank them on behalf of everybody for the courage that they showed.
Constable John Jenkinson was slashed horrifically in the face, neck and chest. Tonight he's stable in intensive care. So too is Simon Castry, whose life was probably saved by the prompt action of colleagues.
Seeing the extent of his injuries and knowing that if I waited until an ambulance came along, then he could lose all the blood in him, I, together with a dog handler, we drove him to the local hospital on Mayday.
The second man was eventually captured by armed police in Southend. Both men are now at Edmonton Police Station in North London. They're expected to be charged in the morning. Tributes from the public have been arriving all day at Chingford Police Station, where Sergeant Alan King was based. Sergeant King was stabbed to death yesterday. Officers here have been touched by the tributes pouring in for Sergeant King. They have been deeply affected by his murder, and they say the public's response has given them the strength and the faith to carry on. Some local children have even been donating their pocket money.
We're hurt. His own colleagues, his very close colleagues on that relief are hurt. As a station, we're hurt. But it's deeper than that. The community in Walthamstow are hurt, and on behalf of everybody, we shall have to get through that period. We will.
Sergeant King's widow, Monica, has thanked everyone for their kind wishes. She described Alan King as a wonderful, loving, caring husband and father who died doing the job he loved. She said he was a people's policeman who loved being out on the streets with the community. But he'd often warned her, you just don't know what's around the corner. At the police station where he worked, his fellow officers are tonight coming to terms with the prophetic poignancy of those words. Glenn O'Glaser, ITN, North London.
The Russian President Boris Yeltsin is offering to bail out the Soviet central government. He'll guarantee the pay of millions of government workers, following the state bank's announcement that it had run out of money. But in tough new measures in Russia, prices are being increased while wages are frozen.
Оптимистичный, да? Оптимисты. А что нам остается делать?
Relief in Red Square tonight after the news that army officers will, after all, be paid this month. Crisis talks at the Kremlin ending with Russia stepping in to pay the union bills.